Hi everyone, it's Kelly here from Kelly's Astrology, talking to you a little bit about the upcoming Aries Lunar Eclipse, which is taking place September 27 and 28, depending on whereabouts in the world you are. For Australian listeners, it will be on Monday, September 28. For listeners in the States or in Canada, it will be Sunday, the 27th of September. So this eclipse is a really special one, or I might say it's strong. Whether it's special or not might be personal opinion. It's a strong eclipse because the moon, as it reaches that moment of fullness, is very close to the south node. So the Aries full moon at 4 degrees will be very close to the south node, which is at 1 degree of Aries. So this creates a total lunar eclipse. A lunar eclipse tells us that it's the moon that is eclipsed. In a solar eclipse, it's the sun that is eclipsed. And eclipsed means the light is blocked. So in a lunar eclipse, the light of the moon is blocked temporarily. And so we get this conundrum, or this pattern-breaking manifestation. And so that's one key point in terms of interpreting eclipses, is that they're about pattern breaking. And when we talk about pattern breaking, we can mean things that are positive or things that are negative. So a change in the usual pattern of things can encourage you to change your usual routines and habits. And you might see that as an opportunity to try something new or to experiment. If you're very attached to your routines and habits, or you really like the routines and habits you've got going on at the moment, you might have to deal with some temporary interruption or interference to those regular routines and habits. So being a little bit more open-minded or a little bit more flexible around the time of the eclipse can be helpful. Another key point about this Aries lunar eclipse is that because it's on the south node, which is the node that has to do with release, endings, and letting go, this eclipse is essentially about all of those things. It's about letting go of things that no longer fill your heart with joy. It's about letting go of things that are in your life or in your schedule out of a sense of obligation rather than a sense of genuine passion or desire. The South Node in the Indian astrology tradition is often thought of as a spiritualizing influence. And a spiritualizing influence encourages us to move our attention away from material things and onto matters of faith or philosophy. And so some of the issues or the decisions that might come up for you under this eclipse have to do with a bit of a switch in mindset, and that may be part of the pattern changing, is that it may be less about ambition or material security or striving for that worldly success and achievement. And you may notice that you're gravitating more towards opportunities or outlets that encourage you to develop that spiritual connection or to get in touch with your emotional side or your intuition. So that can lead to creative outlets. It can lead to playful experiences. It can certainly change your focus off the daily grind and onto those larger existential questions about meaning and purpose and why am I here. Now, long-time readers of my blog will know that I'm a huge fan of the idea of decluttering. And decluttering is another way of thinking about letting go. So it's very much a south node kind of thing. And when we say decluttering, people often hear that and think, oh my God, I have to organize my wardrobe or clean out the closet, or I've got to sort out the garage. But in fact, particularly because this is a lunar eclipse, a full moon eclipse, and it's about emotions very, very clearly, one thing to think about decluttering is your heart, to declutter old emotions, to purge and purify any pain or any toxic gunk that's stuck inside of you or inside of your mind. So the idea of decluttering under this Aries lunar eclipse is not just the physical, it's decluttering the emotional and the energetic as well. Sometimes the two go hand in hand. You may know that I've recently moved into a new home, and even though it's an equal size space to my old home, the space is arranged differently. So where we had lots of space in some areas, we now have very little, and in other areas where we didn't have a lot of space, now we have a lot. So we're really thinking differently about how we use space and how we've kept or held on to some things merely because we had a corner to tuck them into. And so my personal experience, which is, oh my God, do I need 200 books in my office, or can I get by with 20? And really, of course, I can probably get by with 5. That's sort of a very small microcosm of the larger macrocosm under this Aries lunar eclipse, which is about letting go of things that you think you need, but really at the core you don't. So this will bring you back to basics. It will help you release anything that you've held on to out of habit or a false sense of comfort and security. And that idea of the spiritualizing force of the South Node can help you take things to a deeper level or a new level about what it is that really gives you comfort and security, or the people around you that really create that sense of uplifting, positive vibe, versus the people or the relationships that maybe they've become a bit stale or stagnant, or you've even outgrown. Now, the Aries energy I haven't spoken to, and I want to address that very briefly. Aries is about passion. It's about personal projects. It's about action in the world. And it's very much operating from a place of me first. So one thing I wanted to leave you with is this idea of cultivating healthy selfishness under this Aries lunar eclipse. What is it that you could do to put something that's important to you first? What action could you take that would express the value of a pet project or a personal dream? Aries is about action, so this is not just changing your thoughts, it's about changing what you do. But to do that, you want to really connect with what it is you want, why you want that, and then take action to reflect or express that personal passion. So good luck. I hope you enjoy the lunar eclipse and everything that it brings to the surface for you. Ultimately, these eclipses are periods of reconnection and refocusing. Eclipses happen every 6 months, and they are a time that where there's this poignancy. Sometimes it's bittersweet. Sometimes it's about moving forward, but to do so, having to let go of the past. So everything is always in balance, and under this eclipse, it's about rebalancing or changing focus. So let us know how the eclipse goes for you. Leave a comment below, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.